Hi guys, Mark here for KetoKitchenCollection.com, and today's question is, how long does the keto flu last for? Well, it varies from person to person. You can expect, depending on your experience with the keto diet and how you apply yourself to it, you can expect anywhere from 2 to about 6 days or almost a week. So, like I said, there's a fair bit of variance there, and it does depend on if you've been in ketosis before. If you have and you've got a lot of experience in it, typically you'll get in more quickly, your body will be more used to it. But if you're a complete ketosis beginner, then it might take you a little bit longer. Again, everyone's different. Some people will take quite a while, some people will snap into it really quickly. But there's a few things you can do to speed up that process. So for everybody, this goes without saying, and no one's outside of this particular point, to get into ketosis, you have to eliminate carbohydrates almost entirely out of the diet. There's no other way for you to get into ketosis. For me, I need about 20 grams of carbohydrates a day, no more than that, to get into ketosis within about 3 days, maybe 4. Even though I've been in and out of ketosis maybe 20 to 25 times, it still takes me at least 3 days and sometimes 4, depending on how I apply myself to it, which we'll talk about and discuss. And once I'm in ketosis, I can bump it up to about 30 grams a day to maintain ketosis and give me a bit more variety of food. For you, it could be more, it could be less. Unless you've done it, you won't know exactly what your happy amount is of carbohydrates per day in your diet to achieve and maintain ketosis. I just recommend you stick to about 20 grams a day to start with and then experiment with it from there. So that's the same for everybody. That's what you have to do to reduce carbs sufficiently enough to get yourself into ketosis, and of course you'll have those handful of days of keto flu, which you can speed up by doing the following things. Number one, you could eat less carbs, okay? You can't really get too much less than 20 grams a day. I've been able to do some days where I've literally eaten 0 carbohydrates, 0 grams of carbohydrates per day, but the food is extremely restricted. Not the amount of food you can necessarily eat, but the types of food, because almost everything in it has at least some trace carbohydrates in it. So you're very restricted on food if you're going to go all the way down to 0 grams of carbohydrates per day. Will that really make a huge difference? Maybe a little bit, but it's not going to be night and day different. I don't know that you'd really be able to, if you went from 20 grams of carbs a day down to 0 grams of carbs a day, I don't know that that would mean you'd shave a day off the time it took. It would take hours off probably, but there's other ways to speed that up, that are more effective. So what you could do, basically, what you're trying to do is deplete the glycogen stores or the stores of carbohydrates that are in your muscles and in your liver. Okay, so you stop eating carbohydrates, your body has to rely on those stores to deplete them. One way that you can accelerate the depletion is by doing exercise, okay? Doesn't matter too much what kind of exercise you do, but typically I would say moderately challenging aerobic exercise is worthwhile. Maybe a little bit of resistance training, high reps, high repetition resistance training, that sort of thing. As much as you can practically do to keep burning through those glycogen stores while you're going through keto flu, because the quicker you burn through them, the quicker your brain's going to realize that there just isn't any carbohydrate left to run on, in the form of sugars, simple sugars, glycogen, or carbs in the diet, and it'll switch you over to ketosis. And it's not like a switch, ketosis is on, off sort of thing. It's a bit of a gradual, kind of a grey area process. And you'll notice that after maybe 3 or 4 days, or maybe a little bit longer, depending on your experience, that you will eventually feel that you're in ketosis. You'll feel better, you'll have more motivation, you'll have more energy and all that sort of thing. So exercising to deplete those glycogen stores is a way of accelerating the process to get yourself into ketosis a little bit quicker. Fasting can also help some people, where you just don't eat anything at all except for have water, have your vitamins and minerals, and really not much else. You can have tea or maybe some black coffee, that kind of thing, but you don't eat anything else. And I wouldn't do that for the entire time until you're into ketosis. I've done it at most for 2 days. Or maybe a bit over 2 days, and it worked pretty well. I think I got into ketosis possibly a day quicker than I normally would. So that's something for you to consider. If you've never done fasting before, maybe just try it for 1 day and see how you go. You can always extend it for a second day if you're still feeling good. But give that a try. Make sure you're not having any more than 20 grams of carbs a day. Make sure you do exercise to deplete the glycogen stores you've got, and perhaps do a day or two of fasting to help accelerate that process of keto flu and getting through into ketosis. Now, what if you've got experience? For those of you who've been into ketosis before, getting into ketosis again can be extremely quickly. Some of you have become very good at switching over and utilizing fats as fuel, and I've heard of people say that within a day they can be effectively in nutritional ketosis, which is fantastic if you can do it. You don't have to go through that hell of the keto flu. And for those people, the keto flu tends to have less severe symptoms than people who are just going through it as beginners. If you're new to ketosis, it's probably going to take you longer. Again, everyone's different, everyone's individual in this sense, but it's probably on average going to take you a bit longer. For me, the first time took me about 4 days, maybe close to 5 days. But now that I've been in and out so often, it takes me about 3 or thereabouts. Expect that it's going to take you a good 4, 5, maybe 6 days on the outside to get into ketosis through the keto flu so that you're feeling great on the other side. So, guys, that's roughly how long it takes and how you can speed things up, and how long it'll take depending on what your experience is with ketosis. So if you do have any questions, please post in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.